Hey everybody, thanks for checking out Play It Again Flam with Jonas. I'm your host, Jonas Manashewitz. Today I'm going to be talking with a great old friend and a premier drummer, Tony Lazarra. I'm really grateful to you for doing this, my man.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've seen a little bit, we talked a little bit about what this is about. Just drummers, friends talking about what we love, and so yeah, again, thanks for being a part of it. And I guess let's kind of start at the beginning, which I like to talk to people about when they kind of, if there was a moment where drums caught their ear, or they knew, okay, this is something that's going to be part of what I do, part of who I am, something that communicated to you. Was it sitting behind a drum set for the first time, or hearing a Led Zeppelin song? Like, do you have a specific?
Yeah, actually I do. When I was a kid, my brother Sebastian and I, every time we were in the back seat, my parents were playing, AM radio. He was playing air guitar and I was playing air drums. That's how it all started.
That's how it all started.
And eventually, I just gravitated to the drums, and my cousin Sal had a kit. He had a Ludwig Red Sparkle kit. I remember as a kid going to his house and just, wanting to play them, and I just loved them, and every time I just wanted to go there and play his drums. And that was the first time that I really got behind the kit. And then occasionally there were parties that were, my dad had a restaurant, sort of like a catering hall type of place in Manhattan called House of Lazarus, and every time there was a band at a party, I gravitated to the drums. And my Uncle Frank had a band, and his drummer, Dominic, who I'm still great friends with till today, was a drummer, and I just would pick his brain about drums, and I just loved the drums.
Yeah.
And I remember when I lived in Brooklyn, I was just wanting to buy my first record, and I bought 2 records at Corvette's in Brooklyn. Remember Corvette's?
I remember it very well.
I bought Bachman Turner Overdrive, right?
Not Fragile?
I forgot. No, what is it? Bachman Turner Overdrive 2. It had Taking Care of Business on it. Was that the second record?
Yeah.
Right, and Edgar Winter with Frankenstein on it, and that was it.
They only come out at night.
Right. I heard that record, and it just blew me away. That's when I knew I had to play drums.
Yeah. Well, Frankenstein is one of those.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It don't get better than that.
Yeah, it's true. Chuck Ruff. He
Matter
was
of
a
fact, I was
terrific
pissed
drummer.
because I went to go see Ringo Starr at the Beacon. He was supposed to be there, and I saw the Timbales. I knew they were going to do that song, but they didn't because he had COVID. So I was really upset that I missed that.
That's it, yeah.
It was such a great show, man.
That's a
Seeing
bummer.
Ringo, it was great. Greg Bissonette is just outrageous drummer.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah, Greg is, he's another big influence. And so what, I know for me personally, I've had, like I said, I had a couple of moments. One was seeing a drummer playing on a drum set for the first time and hearing Ticket to Ride, that sort of inverted beat. And also, I remember really specifically, a friend of mine, his older brother, I went over his house, and he puts this record on, and I hear Dancing Days.
Yeah.
Brother, I just lost my mind. Even then,
always.
the openness of the groove, I just knew.
Bonham, hello.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I love talking to people about these kind of, singular moments that propelled them forward. And you and I, we've known each other a long time. You were an influence of mine too, even when we were kids. Yeah, when you were playing with Kashmir, and I hadn't. Again, I wasn't as big of a heavy metal fan like you guys. You played Priest and Maiden and all that stuff, and I got into a lot of that
Rainbow stuff.
Yeah, which that was my thing. Yeah, Deep Purple and Blackmore's Rainbow. Of course, Cozy Powell, who we all were really moved
Long
by.
live rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, that's right. You guys did that song. That's right.
It was a lot of fun.
And then later on, you played with Peter Barron. I remember doing an interview, a written interview with you guys back in the day for American Liverpool. Tell me a little bit about Peter Barron. You know, I know he played with Mountain and Leslie West,
Yeah,
right?
Peter's a great friend of mine. My brother from another mother. You know,
Yeah.
we go way back. Matter of fact, he did sound for us. That's how I met him. When I was in Kashmir, we played the Factory when we were doing the all kids shows, and so Sal Italiano, a great friend of mine as well, introduced us, and he became like our sound man for a few shows. That's how it all started, and then he was looking for a drummer. I ended up, doing
With Cities, right? Later on.
well, that was Cities was down the road.
Was down the road.
Well, actually, no. Cities was in high school. It was like 1982. I graduated in '83, so I was in high school. I was like,
Yeah.
what, 15 years old.
I remember seeing you guys at Lemoore.
Right, yeah, that was a lot of fun. We did so many great shows with Cities. Got a lot of experience playing with them. I mean, we opened up for Metallica.
Yeah.
We
You
played
had some monsters in that band. Yeah.
Saxon. I mean, the bands just go on and on.
Yeah, that's great.
Bands.
Cities, you can look them up. They had some really, really premier East Coast musicians. Steve Maranovich, Steve Irons on guitar. Sal Italiano on bass, right? Ronnie Angel singing. Yeah, they were
great guys.
Yeah,
great musicians.
Yeah, definitely. You guys were like, it was like seeing pros. You know, when we were kids, because we were young.
Yeah.
And you remember when we went to see Iron Maiden and Def Leppard at the Palladium? We were kids, and they were only like a couple of years older than us.
Was it Leopard or was it Priest and Maiden? Because I remember I went to that show and I listened to it outside the stadium because I couldn't get a ticket that night. And I listened to the entire show like this on the door.
I remember.
I missed that show.
Because they were only a couple of years older than us at the time. You know, and I remember we were just like watching them like, you know.
The Leopard show was with Ozzy.
Oh, you're right, my man. That's right.
Mountain, right? You were with us?
Yes. Well, I wasn't. I didn't go
Mountain.
with you, but I was there.
Okay.
Right. I was there.
That was incredible.
Yeah. That's right. You're right, and that was when Rick Allen still had two arms. I'm sure he would laugh at that. And so what? How about?
So Peter Barron, you were asking me about Peter.
Oh yes. So please go on.
That was the original question. So yeah, I've been playing with Peter for years. You know, I still actually play with Peter. I've done a lot. Like God, he told me I probably recorded over 100 songs with him.
Wow.
He was like, he gave me a list. I couldn't believe that I played on all these songs over the years. We recently did a couple of records. We have a live record coming out from the Cutting Room. With Joe Turner from Rainbows on it. Doing a couple of Mountain songs, Highway Star. So that's going to be, I don't know when he's putting it out. And then we have another studio record that we did, and that's coming out as well. I believe it's already out on iTunes. I can't even remember when all this stuff's coming out.
I understand.
I think he just put it out.
Is it Peter Barron?
It is Thunder Farm. Peter Barron's
Thunder Farm. Okay.
Yeah, so look it up. Peter Barron's Thunder Farm.
On all platforms.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so and some great tunes. I mean, Peter writes some really amazing music.
Yeah, he's another legend. He's I've always loved his stuff.
And then we were doing the Peter Frampton tribute.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. So we recorded all those tunes, for the demo, just for him to get out there, show the band and stuff.
Right. Right.
But I haven't been doing too many shows. I've just been so busy with other things right now in my life that he's hitting the road. He's using different musicians, just to get it started. Yeah. It doesn't pay to bring the same guys to travel with when you could have a band in one state, and just fly yourself and do the show and come back.
As long as they know the material,
he's got some great musicians, so he's doing
I'm
great.
sure. I'm sure. That's great. And you have your studio too, right? Cherry Bomb.
I did. I shut it down a couple of years ago.
Oh,
but
okay.
I did have Cherry Bomb Records and rehearsal and recording studios for years. I did that for a while. That was a lot of fun. Played on a lot of demos. We put out quite a few records. We put out Jahir and the Experiment, which is a record that Brian Halverson and myself produced. I wrote probably more than a half dozen of the songs on there.
Nice.
So it was fun. Played drums on it, sang on it. what else we had? We produced Brian's record, The Pieces Is Our Was Here. Great record. All on iTunes. And
Okay.
then we were working with another artist, Maya Coppola, great artist, but the record never came to fruition. So we have all these demos. We also had, during all of this time, all of this, we had the Rascals in my studio for a year.
How cool is
We had
that?
Dino Dinelli and Gene Cornish. And Brian
Dude,
was...
Dino Dinelli. I mean...
They were so much fun. They were in my studio for like 4 months. I had to go to Australia to visit my cousins for a wedding. Went out to Australia, came back. They were still in my studio. So I was like, I'm back. And they're still there. So, but that was a lot of fun having them in the studio.
I remember we talked, when you were in Australia, is that when you met Virgil? Hanging with Virgil? Or that was another time?
I was in Australia twice.
Okay.
I was in Australia in 1984. I believe it was the end of 84. And he had a band called Exact Change, I believe was his band. My cousin, who's also a drummer, my cousin John Verga, was like, we're going to this club, we're going to see an amazing drummer, you're going to love him, which was Virgil.
Virgil Donati.
And amazing drummer, just blew me away.
Yeah.
And then finally he came to the States, and I introduced myself to him, and he remembers that night, doesn't remember me, but he knew a couple of people, because my cousin John was like, oh, mention so-and-so's name to him, and I did, and he couldn't believe that I was mentioning this guy's name. I don't recall the guy's name.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. Virgil's a nice guy.
Great guy.
Amazing drummer.
Yeah, I checked for him in L.A. a bit. Yeah. He's
just
great.
A pleasure to watch. Just a monster drummer.
Yeah, I took Tommy DeVito to see him. Yeah.
Tommy's
what can he say? He was
dropped.
just blown away. Yeah. So that was a big thrill for me, to be able to take him to see him.
No doubt.
I'll be doing an interview with Tommy next.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Bachman Turner Overdrive, of course. Led Zeppelin, of course.
Well, Kiss.
That's what I was going to say.
Concert, right?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
What was it? Golden Earring, which was what's his name? Billy Squire's band, I believe. It was Golden Earring, right? That was his band.
Wasn't he Piper? Wasn't he in Piper? Yeah. I think Billy Squiire was in Piper. He might have been in a later version of Golden Earring. It's possible. I'm not entirely sure, but
my recollection.
I get it.
But that was my first show. They opened up for Kiss at the Garden, and that's when it really
blew it open.
Blew it open. I had to be a drummer.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do, and I just loved Kiss, and from there, my palette grew, into all different other bands. Aerosmith, probably still my favorite rock and roll band to date.
Yeah.
I got into Aerosmith quickly. And Joey Kramer was just a great, laying it down.
Doesn't get enough love, you know what I mean?
He doesn't, but
for the
he's
career he's had,
man.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Me
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
And of course, then Van Halen, came out, and this is when I started really trying to put together my first drum set. It started with drum lessons, playing on a pad. I was going to Trojan Music. You remember Trojan Music?
I do. Yes.
I can't even recall who the drum teacher was. I must have been barely 8.5 years old.
Wow, but you were so young and learning, proper. I mean, that's so great.
And
that's
then,
so great.
When Van Halen's first record came out, the first song that I really learned on the drums with the band was "Running with the Devil." Ironically,
It's still great to play,
Van Halen,
Yeah, I know. They're
always
up
there with Aerosmith like this. They're my two favorites,
I know. I called you the day Eddie passed, remember? Because I knew that, that they were always one of your biggies. I mean, me too, but, and that, obviously that was a really sad loss. Gratefully, we still have, the music, to listen to and learn from, and, and then of course I know, Neil Peart, was a big influence, and
and
how did you?
Rush fans, we went to see Rush, how many nights in a row at the Palladium?
I mean those. I've many times I tell people, I saw Rush on the Permanent Waves tour at the Palladium. What was the 2,300 seats? Maybe I think if
Like I
that.
said, 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, and that was also one of those. It opens up so many things, but possibilities. Right, that was always what to see Rush at that time in a venue that size. Uh, it 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 obviously not only moves you and inspires you, but that for me it was always what was possible. When what I never imagined was possible, I was now seeing right in front of me. Like, wow, it's just endless where it can go.
Well,
And
Neil brought it all, everything.
yeah, consistently, decade after decade. Yeah, it's really
Just made you want to practice more.
yeah,
As a kid, you seen
yeah.
him. He was like the ultimate of rock drummers.
Yeah, and playing to the records
he was
too.
progressive. He had some odd time, and so mixing it all up. As a young kid, it could be.
Yeah, and the jazz. He also had the clear jazz influences.
Big time.
So yeah, he's. I mean, him and Bonham, in my opinion, are probably the two most influential of our time.
Yeah. Well,
Buddy
Peter
Rich.
Criss.
Yes, that's true too.
Peter Criss, Bonham, Joe
Yeah.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are my
they're
guys,
all
Of
Ringo
course,
too
Ringo.
for me. Yeah, Ringo for
Let's
me.
not forget Ringo.
No, because they all worshipped him. Yeah.
There's no one king. I'd have to place them all.
Yeah, it's a big Mount Rushmore.
It
Yeah,
really
for
is.
sure.
Let's be honest.
For sure. Yeah, Ian Pace from Deep Purple for me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
His technique was always so evident. Buddy Rich liked him.
Yeah.
He was one of the only rock guys that Buddy Rich liked because of his technique.
Very, very.
Very clean. And musical too.
Yes.
Really musical.
Yeah,
and then a lot of the old shows we were a bit old school. We saw Randy Rhoads live and Eddie Van Halen.
Tommy Aldridge was just,
another
drummer.
workhorse. Yeah,
just great.
I always loved his work with Travers too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So powerful, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
That was
Tommy's a great guy too. He's really cool to talk to.
I got to meet him on the sound check of that show when Def Leppard, the original lineup of Def Leppard, opened up for Ozzy. I think it was like 1982. Maybe.
It had to be
right?
Blizzard of Oz.
Right,
yeah.
Just amazing. And Ozzy didn't come out and do the sound check, but Tommy came out to hear his drums, and I just said hello to him, and it was probably like 90 pounds soaking wet, and he was probably 100 pounds soaking wet.
Probably, yeah. all that cardio.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
he does it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a ball of hair,
Yep, and flailing and just so solid, man.
Just gotta love Tommy.
Yeah, for sure. Another big influence, for sure. And later on, I know one of your drum teachers, who was also one of mine, Buddy Giovinazzo. The world should know who he is as a drummer.
Great filmmaker.
Yes.
Great
author.
Great teacher.
Yeah.
He was a professor in college at Staten Island University.
And a savant drummer, for sure. A big influence.
Big influence on all of us. On all of Staten Island drummers.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I have the
whole
whole catalog.
Did Gary ever study with him?
No, Gary knew him, but Gary studied with a jazz guy for most of his. But he certainly knew Buddy and Ricky, and the dad Jerry. He was a big influence, a big music teacher, and they had the music studio there across from St. Rock's.
Yep.
So how about as you grew, did you listen to like Buddy Rich, like more of the jazz guys, Buddy Rich, Krupa?
Yeah, I did.
Elvin Jones.
I listened to a lot of those drummers. I've always, just because I said to myself, I got to learn some jazz. So I would listen to a lot of crazy records. Miles Davis had just some incredible music.
Yeah.
So whatever I could get my hands on, I would listen to.
Yeah, me too. We're all. It's all a melting pot. It's all a melting pot.
And now I got Apple Music, so I can listen to anything I want.
At any time, yeah.
Which is great,
It is.
We had to spend $10, $12 a record back in the day when we were kids. It was like, there goes my my weekend.
Yeah.
When you're buying 5-6 records at a time.
Yeah, I know. Now,
Now you
at the
can-
record fairs, you go to the record fairs now and find some really cool old stuff. Our mutual friend Dougie Principato has like 4,000 albums.
Oh, wow.
You know,
He's got a big
he only
collection
listens
too,
to vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to his retirement party the other night.
Oh, that's right. I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But I'm let's reconverge. How about today? Are there guys, anybody that you listen to now? You know, who I might call a newer drummer, maybe someone last 10 years or so that has caught your ear. Anybody?
Well, Brian Dunn. He plays with Daryl Hall.
Okay.
Great drummer. I was watching shows and always watching him. He's just so on point. Fantastic drummer. Who else can I say I've seen lately? I can't. You put me on the spot here.
No, it's all right, brother. It's all right.
I don't know. I can't think right now about names, but I'm so bad. I don't know. You may want to cut.
Take your time. We'll edit.
Oh yeah, we'll be here like.
We'll edit. Don't worry.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many great drummers out there. I just can't think of who.
You like the kid Grayson Recruitment?
I'm not sure who's
he's with Suicidal now. You've probably seen him. He's got a lot of videos.
There's a lot of Instagram drummers that I can't recall their names. That's where I see all these new cats.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe how good they are. I just don't recall drummers being this good when I was a kid.
I know. Well, because
and these are like
they
young
have access.
Guys. Well,
they have
YouTube
access to
and, it's easy to.
Yeah.
When we had to
we had to wait for them to come on tour.
Well, we want to go get a lesson. That's when you're learning more, right?
Right.
So you're dying to take your lessons and learn. There was no YouTube, so I mean, now you got YouTube. You've got all of these great drum channels, like the Drum Channel. What was the other one?
Drumeo.
I mean, just fantastic.
I know.
And you can soak up, especially when you're younger. Your brain's more of a sponge. Now
sure.
we're older.
Sure.
We got so many other things in life to worry about.
Yeah. Well, you could learn "Don't Stop Believing" from Steve Smith now.
That's amazing. We all played it wrong for years, right? I had to watch the YouTube channel just to because I was like, all right. I watched a video of somebody making fun of a drummer who wasn't playing it correctly. I'm like, that's me. And I was like, all right, I got a gig. Matter of fact, I know we got to do that song. So I learned the song properly. So I played it right. I was like so proud of myself.
Yeah, well, I never knew.
Actually play it right.
I never knew he was riding a left hi-hat throughout the whole thing.
Yep.
It's so yeah. That's one of the real great things about having
YouTube.
all this access now. It's and that is, I think, part of why we're seeing these young people with these sort of advanced techniques just playing so well at such a young age, because they get to watch and get exposed to things that we really didn't. At least visually. Yeah. We had to kind of listen to it on a record, or try and figure it out.
It's definitely a different animal when you're watching it.
Yeah,
because if we saw a video of a particular drummer, we'd be like wanting to watch it, because it didn't come around that often.
Right, or like I said, if you were lucky enough on tour, you go to see a guy, you catch him live, but that was only for an hour and a half,
right.
Out of a lifetime. So, but that I remember seeing Manu Katché with Peter Gabriel, also in like 82, so around 86 or so, right? In Your Eyes and Sledgehammer.
Right.
And he was another guy, because there was a lot of electronics going on at that time. But Manu Katché was another guy who was just like painting with sounds and splash cymbals and all these linear grooves. And I remember at the time, kind of reinvigorated drum kit drumming for me, because I had never really seen anybody play like that before.
Right.
He had a little Simon Phillips, he had a little reggae, he had, and he was a guy, I'm sorry to say I never got to meet him, but he's with Gabriel now.
Right.
And yeah, he's back with him.
Talking about Gabriel, what about Phil Collins and, what's his name?
Jerry
Chester.
Marotta.
Chester. I mean, those two together were just like, drums can sing.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible. Their drum solos live with Genesis.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
Phil
so
Collins also was such a gifted player,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so a musical drummer. You know, that's another thing.
Singer, songwriter, drummer.
Yeah, we love the musical drummers. Guys like Roger Taylor from Queen
Oh, amazing.
played it so melodically, you know, and you know the tracks still hold up 30, 40 years later. You
And they
listen
will
to them.
for centuries.
Yeah, yeah, they'll always right. They'll always give you something, you know, and that's I know that's kind of what we strive for. We want to have a signature, right, in our playing, something that will move someone, and
Yeah.
I know that's certainly something I hope to achieve, and I hope I have at some point. And what about as far as like your practice regimen? Do you? I know you're busy
I haven't.
leading
Listen,
a life.
I'll be honest. I don't practice like I used to. I wish I had more time, and it's something I definitely need to get back to.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we all need to do, man. I mean, I just love playing drums live. I love playing with bands, and just the last few months have been a little crazy for me because I got a family and I got to worry about paying the bills, and that's rough when doing gigs just doesn't help, So
That's a terrific restaurant in Manhattan.
I've been in the restaurant business for a lifetime. I always said that restaurant helped pay my filthy habits of music.
Yep.
Paid for everything.
We all need it. We all need a source, an income source.
Yeah, that was it for me. Still is.
And how about you have any gigs coming up? You have?
No, I don't have any gigs coming up right now. I've been just taking some time, for myself and trying to get my restaurant on point. In the middle of doing a lot of big things for my restaurant. So it's kind of not letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak. But
all right, something to look forward to.
Yeah, something to look forward to. And once that's all settled down, and then I can worry about getting back to music 100%.
Right.
So I got to deal with that right now.
That's I learned a few of your tracks when I played with Danielle and the Altar Boys.
Oh, okay.
So I did a couple of shows with them, and
Danielle and the Altar Boys.
Yeah.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Dean, Lane, Danielle, Steve Elias.
I didn't know the name of the band was the Altar Boys.
Danielle and the Altar Boys, because the songs are like God themed.
That was the other record I just finished with Dean. Dean Santa.
Dean Santa,
great friend of mine.
another Staten Island.
The original Cashman Staten Island came out with like a 15 or 16 song record. It's fantastic. Great lyrics, some great songs, melodies. I played maybe a half dozen songs on the record.
Yeah.
Also, Tommy played a few songs on the record. A couple other drummers, Keith Lopez, another great friend of mine.
Another great drummer.
And who else played on it?
I know. I know you.
Palladino.
Oh, okay. And did Paul DeFazio too?
Yes, and Paul DeFazio played on a track maybe or two. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, Danielle and the Altar Boys. Now that was when we played at Ralph's. That was the name.
Right on. All right. Okay.
Because I know.
How was the show?
It was great. We were the only band that played originals.
Oh, okay.
So it was really cool. It was really cool. I was grateful, that they asked me to be a part of it.
That's great.
And Dean, I may do some work with him in the future. I'm hoping, because he's another guy that I always looked up to.
Yeah.
So like I said, when he asked me to, if I could come help out, I was really pleased that he did. Mm-hmm. And let's see, what else did I want to talk to you about? I'm also, there's so many things I wanted to talk to you about. This will be edited. Let's see. Okay, you have footage. You sent me some of the footage that you have of you doing a solo. You playing with some other
bombastic solo.
The bombastic solo, which I'm going to edit that into this.
Okay,
all right.
All right.
So, and in the future, that's what I wanted to talk about. We're going to be doing a drummers roundtable coming up. It'll be at the soundstage at Cablevision.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. So we're going to have a sit down before that, me, you, Tommy, and Gary will
Should I bring pizza?
talk about. Yeah, why not?
All right.
Why not?
All right.
Maybe you know what? Maybe we'll meet in the city at your place. You know, we'll see.
Well, that'll be the round table. Well, square.
Square.
Four corners are better than none. You got to think outside the circle.
That's right.
We don't sell round pizza.
That's right.
You realize who the drummer was? Steve Longo from Rat Race Choir. Another great drummer who played, what was it, those drums? The Fives, are they called?
Or North, were it Fives
No,
or
no.
North?
I don't. Fives, right?
I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't, yeah, I'm sorry to say I don't remember.
Because it was drums that I wasn't very familiar with at the time. But maybe,
Were they acrylic?
I believe they were.
Yeah, that was the fiberglass, right? I think that was Fives. That's why it
there
came.
you go. Well, yeah, that was the show we played at Am Jam. He
Yeah.
was on drums, and I believe it was the bass player from Rat Race Choir. I don't know his name. They were three-piecing it, and it was really, I mean, Leslie was just on fire.
A monster.
A story that Peter shared with me was at the end of the night, I think, when the show was all over and everybody it was a rainy mess. I don't even remember all the mud.
I remember it. I remember.
It was like so much mud.
I drove the truck up there.
There were a lot of bikers. Amsterdam was a bike fest, and you know, all the clubs were hanging out. And one of the ones most famous were Hell's Angels. And rumor has it, according to Peter, that Leslie was walking and slipped and leaned on one of Hell's Angels' motorcycle and knocked it over in the mud.
Leslie was a big guy.
Yeah. And I heard that guy just got up and just knocked out Leslie. I don't know how true it is.
At that show.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope it's not true. I don't remember that.
I don't know. It sounds like a true story to me.
I do remember there being some intimidating looking guys at that show.
Leslie was great. You know, I remember we did a show with him at Lamore's. At the end of the show, hey, Tony. Hey, listen, I got a bunch of T-shirts. Ask some girls if they want some T-shirts. They come back to the place. Okay, Les. I'll let them know.
Right.
Leslie's crazy. Oh my God! All right, Leslie.
Yeah, well, Corky Lang did some shows on Staten Island not too long ago.
Yeah. Corky still has it.
Yeah, it's the Coast Guard. I live near a Coast Guard station. I'm very secure here.
Yeah, I saw Corky. I mean, Corky's just great. I mean,
yeah.
How old is he now? I mean,
72 or 3.
I think he's older than that.
Yeah, he might be. You're right.
He's definitely older.
He might be.
Google it.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's probably late 70s, right? I mean, yeah, he must be.
But I mean, you know, I credit him. I wish and hope that I can still be playing at his age.
Amen to that, my man. Amen to that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, most of them play until, you know, they're not here anymore. You know, for the most part. Sadly, Phil Collins, he literally can't play anymore. But his son's a pretty solid drummer. He's playing with Genesis now.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
We saw them. Yeah, we saw them a couple of years ago. It was great.
I'm sure.
It was great. Yeah, Phil was sitting and singing, you know, for most of the night. But it was terrific. I mean, it was still Rutherford and Banks. You know, it was it was really great to see them. And also Frampton a couple of years ago, and Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin evening opened up for Peter Frampton.
No kidding.
So
really?
that at the Garden, so that was really cool to see. Jason is another,
another great
drummer, you know, who I don't. A lot of people might disagree. I don't see a lot of echoes of his dad as you might think, right?
No, you don't.
They're different players. Yeah.
Well, look at Zach Starkey. I mean, do you see, you know?
No,
I don't see his dad in his playing.
Yeah, not too much. Not too much. I see more Mooney, if anything. You know.
Yeah. Well, he was playing with the Who.
And Mooney was. I think Zach maybe not took lessons from Mooney, but was around him as a kid. You know, so he was certainly a big influence on him for sure. I was talking recently with Jerry Murata, another great friend, lives up in Woodstock, who I'll be doing an interview with him.
Awesome.
And he was telling me that Moon for him, you know, when he first saw and heard Keith Moon, that it like blew it open for him.
Right.
Because it was the drums as a lead instrument, he felt, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, I think it was Pete Townsend who described The Who as four guys soloing at once. That's kind of that's
Who,
what it
as
sounded
a kid,
like.
you know, like I just thought Keith Moon was so crazy of a drummer. I mean, so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see like the technical side of him.
Right.
You know, I just didn't feel he was a technical drummer. Man, but who gave a shit?
But
he was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And what drummer would have worked better in that band?
He's so crazy.
You
know, you ever see that he's wearing headphones with duct tape around his head? I'm like, right there, that's like...
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, I love Pete Townsend, I thought, said it best. He said Keith Moon didn't play the drums, he did something else.
Yeah.
You know?
I gotta agree with him.
And yeah, I mean, he sat behind a drum set with sticks in his hands,
There's
but
no one
he
like
kind of did something else, right?
There's no one like him.
No, another huge influence of mine. You know, The Who is, you know, for me, they're like my favorite. I just always love them. I think around the time of Tommy, 68, 69, they were the mightiest thing to ever take a stage. You know, I just was always really moved by them, and still am. You know,
yeah.
Who by Numbers is, you know, one of my all-time works. That again, it keeps revealing things. Even 45 years later, however 50 years later, when you listen to it, it still gives you things, that's the real great gift, I think, of so much of the great music that we grew up with.
100%.
You know, and we came up in a time when, which is kind of rare, where the greater stuff was also the most commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't happen too often. You know, a lot of times really great stuff is underappreciated in its time. But everything that we grew up loving was celebrated in that time, which is, you know, real special, and also, just, again, a lot of gratitude for being able to, you know, be alive at that time when, you know, our gods were taking the stage, as it were, you know. Yeah, for sure. So, Tony, tell me, anything else you want to talk about musically? Anything?
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we have covered a lot. Do you appreciate some of the bigger stars? Like, okay, I'm a big fan of Pink, for example.
Fantastic.
Have all her records.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's one of the greatest rock pop singers. I mean, I love her music. I mean,
yeah, me too.
I work out and at this gym called Orange Theory Fitness. You know, it's all about elevating your heart, and so the coaches there seem to love her because I'm always hearing Pink, and I'm like, oh, that's a great song, another great song. You know, I don't have her records, but I do know quite a bit of her music just from the gym.
I'm with you. I think she's.
And I watched a special on her live, and the drummer, I don't know his name, but another really good drummer.
Yeah, and he was like an older. He was like the older guy in the band.
Was he? Maybe I don't know if it's the same drummer I'm thinking of. How many drummers has she gone through? Well,
he was with her for a long. He did like the Funhouse tour. He did the Beautiful Trauma tour. He's in that documentary.
Because now I got to go back.
Yeah, he's in the documentary. All I Know So Far, which was when she played Wembley to like 80,000 people.
That's crazy.
He was the drummer on that. I think she has someone different now, but he another, you know,
great artist.
Great artist. Yeah, she has a rare gift of being able. An 8-year-old can relate to her, and an 80-year-old can. You know, there's something about her music and her lyrics that is really simple, you know, but speaks to
Speaks volumes.
a huge paradigm of people. Yeah, it's yeah. So
Good stuff.
I was curious if you know were a fan of hers because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am.
I like him. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
me
doubt.
too. Me too. Tommy DeVito busts on me about it, but you know, you
I can
like,
hear him already.
yeah,
That's gay. I can hear it. Okay, Jones, that's gay.
yeah. We know him so well. We know,
And he punched you like
always,
that.
always,
Son of
yeah.
a bitch, you broke my
Since,
glasses.
since we're since we're children, Tommy and I have been kicking each other's ass. You have any shows coming up that you're going to see? I know.
I just saw Kiss.
The final show.
I did.
Oh, brother,
on
tell
Friday
me about
night.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric Singer, another legend.
fantastic.
Another
drummer.
legend,
I mean,
great guy, great drummer.
Yeah, he did a great drum solo. A lot of fun. He's pays homage to Peter Criss. He did a great job. I mean, I miss Peter Criss, to be quite honest. I miss the original lineup, but it was great to see the show.
Yeah.
Keith Lopez and Ernie Ayala, good friends of mine.
And Chrissy Muro was there. Yeah.
They came to my restaurant to eat that night.
Okay.
And Keith was looking for a better ticket. And he's like, "Are you going to the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I couldn't get a ticket." He's like, he finds a ticket. He decides to buy it in an orchestra. He already has a ticket. He goes, "Take my ticket." I was like, "Take $100?" He's like, "Yeah." So I ended up going.
Dude,
and,
how cool
I got there
is
a little
that?
late because I had to close the restaurant. I missed like 5 songs. Of course, me, I'm old school. I was in 200, and I get to the first one. I see 100. I'm like, "Oh, let me walk in here." Nobody stops me. I walk in. I'm in 107. That's where I really want to sit. 2 seats available. I sit, but I stood the whole show. And
how cool is that?
It was great.
How cool is that? I wasn't able to make it, but I also, they were a big. I saw them in '77 and '79. Yeah, they're.
Yeah, I saw them just coming off the Destroyer record, I believe.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Oh, it might have been '76 when I saw them because that's the first time.
That's what I believe.
Because I saw Destroyer, then Love Gun, and when they had the stairs and.
I don't think I was barely 12 years old when I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My older brother took me. Yeah. And then in '79 on Dynasty, that was.
Kiss did it all. Were you there? I don't think so. When we all dressed up as Kiss.
No, I did it not with you guys, but I did it too.
Well, I did it with Keith Lopez, Ernie Ayala, and Anthony
Maniscalco.
we did it in Anthony's backyard. If you ever want to see that footage, it's in a song that I wrote called Rockstar. And it's on Jahir and the Record, Jahir and the Experiment. It's on Apple Music. You should check out the video if you Google Jahir and the Experiment. Rockstar is the name of the song. And there's a lot of footage of when we were kids in there.
Really?
Dressing as kids.
I have to see that.
It's a lot of fun.
I have to see that.
Yeah, I still say it's the coolest thing I ever did. I haven't topped it yet.
That's yeah. It's always in the early years that we.
What do you got to do?
That is great. That is great. Tommy DeVito also did the Peter Criss thing. And so, I mean, that's so great that you got to see the last show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Supposedly the last show.
Really, really good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. When I was in LA, at one time I was playing in a band and I had a shirt that said "Who died and made you, Gene Simmons?" Right? Yeah. And one night Gene came into the club and it was a big thrill, and I kind of jokingly said, he looked at my shirt. I said, "I don't have to pay you licensing, do I?" And he goes, "Maybe."
Oh my God.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure he was joking, but it was really cool. I had actually met him another time. It's it's a big thrill.
We kind of met Gene. I'll tell you a funny story. When I started playing with Peter, we had come out with a demo, and I sent it to Simmons Records, and I got this voicemail on my my answering machine. "Hello, folks. This is Gene Simmons. I like what I hear. Send me another cassette to so and so address. Do not call me. I'll call you if I'm interested." All right, that was great, right? It was like 1991, 92.
I love it.
So it was, whatever. We did another record, another demo, and I happened to be at a Kiss show, and I brought the demo with me. This is really funny and embarrassing at the same time. So I go to the show by myself. I went to the Meadowlands, right? And I'm sitting down. There's a girl there by herself, and I was kind of cute. We were talking, you know. And next thing you know, I said, I'm going to go up to the front, you know. I just want to say hello to Gene, right? So, you know, I go up there, and you know, he's rocking out and all this gear. They're back with the makeup on,
Right,
and,
right.
And I had the cassette in my hand. I wanted to let him know who I was, and I sent him. You know, it said Liberty Wild, right? Peter Barron.
Oh
So
my God, I
I'm
remember.
like, yo,
Okay.
Gene, yo, Gene. He's like, he looks at me and he goes, "Not now." I'm like, I went back to my seat. She's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, there's nothing. It was great." You know, I just said hello to Gene. Oh, Gene, if you're watching, you know,
Hey.
I didn't mean much.
Gene, we don't get a lot of opportunities, so we have to grab what we can.
But that was really funny. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I got to meet and kind of work with Peter a little bit before the reunion, like in late '95, early '96. Before they did the first reunion, he was doing shows with Ace. This was in L.A. And I got to tech for him for a couple of shows for Peter. This is before the
Peter
Kiss
Criss?
reunion. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I got to tech for him for a couple of shows. And here's one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was with Peter in his black Durango.
Wow.
Driving to a show in San Diego with his drums, listening to Kiss Alive.
Wow. That's so cool.
So, and I'm driving, I'm like, listen, I'm like, you know, like he's never heard it. I'm acting like he's never heard it.
That's
you know,
great.
yeah, it was really a surreal, you know, really
that
like
record,
a gift.
Kiss Alive 2 is just...
Come on, what
God.
Kiss Alive and Alive 2, yeah, they
of those
are
records,
documents in time, and you know, very important, you know.
Although Kiss Alive 1 was not completely live.
I understand. I've heard rumors of Rick Derringer doing overdubs. I've heard all kinds of stuff.
Well, Eddie pretty much...
Eddie Kramer, right?
Kramer, when I was with Peter, we had a production deal with Eddie Kramer. And he told us a few of the stories that it wasn't completely live, but there was a lot of...
It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Because the finished product...
Hey, man, it's all about the finished product in the end.
That's right.
But the majority of it was live, and that's what all counts.
And when it comes between the truth and the legend, print the legend.
Sounds good.
Well, my brother, I am so grateful to you for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. It was a lot of fun.
I'm really grateful to the people at Drummers Universe. Again, very grateful for the support. I'm Jonas Menashowitz with Play It Again Flam, talking with Tony Lazarra. Peace and paradiddles, everybody. Be well. Tony, thanks again, man.
Jonas,
really.
thank you so much,
I'm really
man.
grateful.
Love you, brother.
All right, love
Appreciate
you too. All the best, man.
Right.
Thank you.
Peace.